Welcome back to the Not One of Your Little Friends podcast with Chayil and Constance. I am Chayil and
Constance Carter.
and we're back again with another episode finally. We took like a break on accident because we went out of town to a conference, which is actually I really liked the conference. It was worth it.
It was amazing.
It was worth it.
Who was the keynote?
Constance Carter was the keynote. Oh my gosh.
OMG.
Anyway, but no, you did
Thank
really
you,
well.
I appreciate
So
it.
one thing about her that people don't know though, she afterwards she'd be like, I don't think I did that good, or I don't think. Meanwhile, she got standing ovation. I don't think I did that good. I don't think people weren't, and she thinks because people are quiet, that's not interesting enough. But I think it's a good thing that people are quiet. That means that they're captivated by what you're saying. Because if you constantly I don't know, I feel like if people weren't quiet and like not paying attention, you'll be able to tell. But people were quiet and captivated by what you were saying.
Sometimes I feel like people just be feeling sorry for me. That's why they clap.
No,
you remember?
Yeah. I don't know why you be saying stuff like that.
They just felt sorry for me, and you're like, no, mom. But I'm like, please tell me because I want to get better. You're like, mom, you did great. But I'm like, tell the truth. No, for real, tell the truth. And you're like, mom, you did great.
Like I'm in the
Very
audience,
critical.
and I can. Yeah, one thing about it, I am a little bit critical.
No, you are very critical, and I appreciate that because I want to get better. I need you to critique me. So compliments do not come easy from you.
Because I'm so critical on myself.
And I appreciate that though. Like I want to rise to the occasion, so I don't want you to give me no free passes. I want you to tell me what's up.
And me saying that also actually like goes to another point of kind of off topic by what I want to talk about, but that actually brought something to me. How me being critical on myself, how I'm critical to others because I'm critical on myself. Like we as people, whatever we are within ourselves, we portray that onto other people.
Yeah. You're right about that. We project.
Yeah, so whatever, like when I'm having conversations with people and certain things bother people, I'm like,
everybody projects. And then, it goes to relationships too, because I know sometimes if I'm talking to a friend or whatever, or just in relationship with people, you automatically, people have these preconceptions based upon what they already think and their own projections. And it's really hard, especially when you're dealing with relationships with people. They think, oh, you think this of me and this is why you say this. And they don't take things at face value.
And when people say you think this of me, this is actually what they think about themselves, right, that they are projecting on other people.
That's good.
So that's just, it's so crazy how we're literally just like reflections of ourselves onto other people, if that makes sense. Like we're literally just, well, because when people, that's why like when people be like saying certain things like, you think of this of me, I actually don't. Right. But you're basically telling me what you think about yourself, so you think that I think that you're that way.
Correct.
And that's so crazy. You can literally read people by what they say.
Right. And you could be thinking the best of them, and they think you thinking the worst because it's how they perceive themselves. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, that is.
What are we talking about today? Because what are we talking about today?
So
she always comes up with the topics.
I wanted to get on the topic of the devil being a liar.
Ooh,
because we both had a week, or just we're always going through it, and I feel like this past week, even this day for me, I just feel unmotivated, and I just feel like, am I doing enough? And I know you've been going through that this past week of you can't even really function or really just work and focus. And so I feel like when that happens, somehow, some way, there's something on the other side of that the devil is trying to get you away from, but also a lesson that God wants to teach you so you can crack that code and get to that side. But it's just like,
so let me ask you a question though. So when you're going through it, because just like you said, like my thing was I had company this week, and it was all the things. So I grew up with a lot of people in my household, a lot, like 19 people. My mama said it wasn't really that. It wasn't no 19 people. It was only 13 people. Whatever it was a lot of people in a 5-bedroom home that was for a family of 5, a 3-bedroom home for a family of 5. So it's supposed to be a home for my parents, my brother, my sister, and myself. They let everybody and their mama move in with us. So I grew up in a household that was very chaotic. I was exposed to a lot of things, some things that I should not have been exposed to. But it built character, right? So anyway, a few of those people who lived in the house with me that I was growing up with, they came to visit me this week. It's my aunt, my cousin, my mom. It was great though. I enjoyed them. However, it was very chaotic. Not in a negative way. You know how it is, family. There was vacation. There was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. And they spoke very loud. And they were all day, all day, all day, all day. And my kids were kind of skedaddling because we are used to having a very quiet house. Yeah, like let's listen. That's how our house is most of the time. It's like this. So you have loud people. My mama loud, my cousin loud, my auntie loud, all day long, sun up to sundown. So of course my mind was blocked. There was nothing I could do. So any of my clients or the things that I was supposed to do, everything kind of got neglected because it was a lot going on. But the moment they left, which I was happy that they were here, I got my clarity back. But also I hadn't slept because of all of the activity. So yesterday when the house was finally quiet, I actually took a day nap. I don't normally do that.
When do you never not take day naps?
When do I take day naps?
Excuse me?
Yeah, when do I take day naps?
You take day naps all the time.
When was the last time I took a day nap, dear? I don't take day naps. I go to sleep early. I don't take day naps.
You take day naps like 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes I come in after you've been working or something.
Baby, no. When you come in at 5 o'clock, that is not a day nap. That's after work. But I'm talking about at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't take day naps.
Oh, you do that on weekends?
Yes. I don't take day naps during the week. Okay. I work.
Well, so you just take naps. You take naps, though.
Yeah, no.
You definitely take naps throughout the week. A day nap or a nap. You take naps. So.
No, not really. Actually, I don't.
You took a nap right before this, actually.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah, but, when you're an entrepreneur, every day is a work day. So.
Not for me. I ain't worked on a weekend in I don't know how long. Maybe for you, but not for me.
She said, I'm not part of that tax bracket that you are in. So,
no, I mean, real talk.
The same soup kitchen that I was in.
Whatever.
You were not in that soup kitchen.
Real talk.
Okay. But anyway, I just wanted to go to the conversation of just feeling like, even just today in general, I just been feeling kind of blah. And I know it's because I just go through the motions of life and just me being young, or I don't know what it is, but like on those times where I just feel like unmotivated, I just feel like I'm going back to I don't want to say feel like I'm going back to square one, because no, I'm definitely not at that point. But I guess with me feeling how I feel, what advice would you give to me? Times where I just feel, I know you talked to me about being patient, but me being impatient and still not seeing the reason. I don't even know what part we ended on or whatever, but let's just go back to the part where, like, what advice do you have for me where I feel like just stuck and unmotivated? And it's not even that I'm like unmotivated, it's just like I'm kind of impatient and I feel like I know everything, but partial of it is also, okay, execute, but execute on what?
Yeah.
And so I'm just so used to not seeing things come into fruition, especially when I do things.
But it motivates me. You know the rule, and the rule is about consistency. So start with the end in mind. What is the vision? Where do you see yourself, and what time frame? So it starts, you have to have a vision for your life. So what does that vision look like? So Chayil, in the next 12 months, where do you see Chayil in the next 12 months? You don't have to tell me, but I need you to put it in your mind. I need you to formulate that in your mind. Where am I? Where do I want to be? What do I want to be doing? And I want it to be so clear to you that you know what your environment's going to look like. You see yourself in whatever capacity. You know what you're going to be wearing. You know what room you're going to be in. I want you to be that clear with that visualization of you. 12 months, what does that look like? So start with the end in mind. Okay, so whatever that looks like, what do you need to do every day to get there? Okay, so then I want you to just start writing down your goals and your dreams. What does that look like? So here's my vision. I want you to write down the vision and make it plain. And then you have to start just in alignment with it. Okay, what does that mean I need to do in order to get there? I have a vision. I have the end in mind. I wrote it down. So now, since I made a decision on what I want to do, now God is going to bless every effort once I put the action in, because faith without works is dead. But that's where the consistency comes in. Verse, don't be weary in well doing, for in due season you will reap your harvest. If you faint not, though, because a lot of people stop at that. They're doing whatever they're doing and then they want to stop. And then they give up right before they're getting ready to hit their targets.
That's my next question. When you get to that part of the if you faint not part, because like in the beginning, you get motivated real quick for like 2 days, consistency, 2-3 days. How do you stay motivated or whatever after the 4th, 5th, then the 30th day? Like, because my issue is, okay, I get a couple of days of consistency, maybe a week. And then I'm just like,
you got to go back to the end. You got to go back to the vision. What's my goal? But see, the thing about it is when we're not really clear on the vision, when we lose our motivation, it's hard to regain it back because we don't even know what the end is to begin with. You got to have that thing. And that's why writing it down, oh, let me go back to where I need to be. Let me get back, because it's easy to lose sight of the things that we think that we want to do. But if we have it already written down in a place where we can always go back to, and then we see progress, because even if you're not getting paid, even if you don't really see anything, the consistency. Everybody says, even like with social media, how do you get your social media? Listen, I have on my Facebook, I have 260,000 followers. How long did I have that page before I got 260,000 followers?
10 years.
Yeah. And how long have I been putting out content? I have thousands of videos. Some work, some don't, but I didn't stop. Right? When I was in real estate, I didn't.
So you had all of this in mind beforehand?
I knew that I wanted to have, like, I still, even with my, I said I wanted to have so many subscribers on my YouTube page. I still don't have that, right? But I'm still putting out content. I'm still not stopping. I said I wanted to have so many followers, or, I wanted to monetize on Facebook. That was a goal of mine. So, and I'm not monetizing the amount I want. So am I going to give up because I'm not at that goal, the end goal yet? No, I'm going to keep getting there, because now I'm seeing things coming together. Dang, it took a long time. It took a lot longer than I wanted to, but it's still working because it's something that I want to do, and it's a vision I have. That's one of the many visions, right? So you just have to like be just so focused and clear on the vision, and then every time you lose sight of it, you go back to it. But you got to have the vision first.
That's good. What came in my head when you said that, the first question that just popped up is just, what is that vision for me? I know what I don't want to do. As far as things that I do want to do, I think I know what, like, the things that interest me and what I like. I don't know if that's eventually going to be the things that I want to do, but for example, what I like doing, I like having conversations like this. I like speaking. I like being in front of the camera sometimes. I don't know, I don't want to speak for other people. Basically what I'm trying to say, I like exposing concepts or things that people don't necessarily see, or bringing things that aren't really common to light. Like, for example, the concept of this podcast, it's not a really common. I've always been that person too. Like when I was younger, when I listened to an artist that people haven't really heard before, whatever, I'm making sure to tell people about that artist. Or, when I wanted to be a publicist a couple years ago, like in high school, I remember one of the things that I did say, my reasoning for it, and I don't even know what a publicist really is, even like to this day. But one thing that I did say was I wanted to be able to help my friends who I felt like that were talented and unique in their own way. I wanted them to get their spotlight. That's why I thought I wanted to be a publicist. Part of me wants to just start with me first, because I do feel like I have certain ideas and concepts and perspectives that aren't really common. And want to be able to, I don't want to say the word expose, because expose has a negative connotation. I'd be able to help bring that to light. And I know part of you is like, you always said to me, what about me? What about me? I mean, I'll be trying to help, but I feel like you do a good job already with yourself. And so I don't really have anything to really add or...
No, so just as you're saying all of these things, I want you to know that your goals don't have to be static. They can be movable. They can be changeable. They can grow over time. They can evolve. And so I don't want you to think of, okay, this is the goal. It's what it's supposed to be. It's what it's supposed to be. This is what it is. And think that you can't do anything else. And so as you as you start to evolve, like there's so many things that I want to do too. And it was like, okay, this is what I have to do in order to get there. But they've all evolved.
I had that free will moment when I was trying to find this recipe and I didn't find any recipe with the noodles I wanted to use. And I'm like, free will, I'm gonna just make the noodles, do it with the noodles that I wanted to use anyway. It's just like, the reason why I was so stuck is because I feel like I put the pressure of other people onto myself for the longest. When you're a kid, that's what you do too, because there are all those expectations for you. But when you get to a point where you're an adult now and you literally have to like depend on yourself, it's like these people aren't even paying my bill. I'm glad that I have you as a parent too. At this age now, a lot of parents, if they have a 26-year-old living in the house with them, they will put a lot more expectations on them too. Like you gave me that time to finally figure it out. And I feel like when I get to that point, when I figure out when it's gonna click for me, it's going to click.
Right.
And I feel like you know that, so that's why you don't put that pressure on me. And I'm thankful that you have done that. And I just think the dynamic would be totally different if, a certain person was still in the house. I don't think I would be able to be as free thinking I feel like as a kid, that's why I also put a lot of pressure on myself too, just because of that.
So I would say, as a mother, I went from, and I remember just you being my first child and thinking, oh my God, when she becomes an adult, oh, this is my baby. This is my baby. I'm losing my baby. Oh my God, I'm losing my baby. And the transition was actually very beautiful because you went from being my baby to a woman, and the relationship grew. And I didn't even know that it could grow even more. And so I went from mothering you and parenting you to advising you. But I do that with all of you guys. I still gotta, put the smack down a little bit. But I was having a conversation with my middle son the other day, Kyron, and he was like, he was telling me some of the struggles he was dealing with, and it doesn't benefit him if I'm just on him and yelling at him for mistakes that he made. And it's like, listen, this is where we at. This is what we doing. This is how we got to get up. We got to get back on the horse now. This is what we're gonna do. We got to readjust, recalibrate, whatever. He's like, Mom, I feel so terrible. I feel guilty. I feel like I'm in this loop. I don't know. Hey, let's do what we can to make it happen. All that stuff is in the past. And
because there's nothing really you could do for
like me yelling at you and saying, like, you should have did this.
I can't go back in the past and get that time machine and fix it and go. Yeah,
it does. But a lot of parents do that. They yell at their kids about what they didn't do, what they should have done, how they should have done better. Why didn't you do this? Why did you?
And that's why a lot of kids don't even talk to their parents.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people don't talk to their parents, because of that same reason. And I feel thankful that you are that safe space for me, that you don't, because also I know that that's probably what you dealt with in your past, and that's why you weren't able to speak to your parents.
Yeah.
And so that's
my dad, I could talk to my dad about anything. My dad is, like I said, I model my parenting after my dad because I could talk to him about anything. And he listened and he gave me proper advice. He doesn't try to parent me now at 50 years old. My mom, I love her to death, but she be still trying to like tell me what to do at 50. And I'm like, Mom, that chance is past. You didn't do it when I was a kid. Why are you trying to do it now? Shout it.
Anyway, we were talking about greatest demise as a man.
So the greatest demise is not a man.
The greatest demise is a man.
No, totally. If you have, I still believe in love. I believe that.
I believe in love too.
Yeah, I believe that the right man could bring the best out of a woman, and the right woman could bring the best out of a man. So even like my situation, right, when I was self-conscious, you're like Kyron said, I'm in a loop. I don't know, and I get it. And you don't really get out of that loop until you're like to make him his best self. If whoever can make this person help them be their best selves, I'm
in my mid.
And I would, at the same token, I want somebody to help me bring out the best me. But first, I'm going to work on me. I'm not going to try to meet somebody at a place where, I'm not at my best.
With a person who has your type of ambition, how do you go for a person that's ambitionless? Like,
I'm not going to talk about that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if we want to get too deep into that, but how did you choose that for you?
Because we were both in the same place at that time. Yeah, I was an honor student in high school. I was ambitious in school. Like, I was the person. I got all the awards and I was in all the things. So I was that.
You know what?
He was a Christian boy.
Right,
He was a church guy. Loved the Lord. It was like puppy love.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to be too hypercritical Because there's people that I've been with too. My friends are probably looking at this like, girl, you have no room to be judgmental or talk about people. So I understand there's people who I've dealt with, and still to this day, I can't even really understand why I like them and gave them a chance. But I just still like them. You can't control who you like. Because you see the potential. Like you said, you saw that he was a nice guy. You saw the same thing for me when I chose certain people. I see their potential. I see that they're actually good people under the surface, but their actions just don't be lining up.
Yeah.
And you see the potential for them to line up, and you just don't. Why do you think we just are so big hearted like that? Like, why do we?
I don't know. I mean, I just, I that's why I don't advise anyone to make that like a life decision before their prefrontal cortex is developed. That really, like, you really need to kind of know who you are, know yourself, and all that stuff before you do that. So I just think that, just like what I was saying earlier about how do you expect these kids to make a decision for the rest of their lives at such a young age? It's the same thing with marriage. I wouldn't change anything about my life. But on the same token, when you say, well, what made you get a divorce? One thing doesn't make you get a divorce.
Oh yeah.
It's a culmination of a lot of different things over time that happen, and then you finally get to a point where you're like, okay, this is inevitable. So ain't like one, it's not one thing. It's just like a series of things that just start chipping away. I don't have any regrets on getting married. I don't have any regrets on getting divorced.
Because it shaped who you are.
Yeah.
And that's part of your story.
And I had some great years. I had some great moments. I got some great kids. Like, we did some amazing things. I made history with the business, so you can't draw all of that. And so it was good times and bad times. But, right now, there's only really been one bad period of my life, and that was going through the divorce. So 21 through 23, those were some hard years. And I remember in 2022, I just wanted to be done with it so bad because I had been going through it for 2 years. I didn't want to bring it into 2023. And then we didn't finalize it in 22. And it was so devastating to me because I was like, I don't want to go into another year with this, Lord, please. So it was like torture every day, every waking moment. Going through that was just treachery and torture. Not knowing, getting hit upside the head in court and getting these things from attorneys, and just being attacked on just craziness. I thought I was in the twilight zone. People like, how did you go from the West Coast to the East Coast? Like, you're literally from one side of the country to the other side of the country. And that's what it did. But I tell you, it was the best decision that I made. And it was because of all the things that I was going through. And sometimes people will make long-term decisions based upon short-term problems, and it don't pan out the way they want it to.
I'm that person.
That was a God thing.
Yeah. It still didn't fully register to me that, oh yeah, you guys did really pack up your life and move out.
We really packed up our lives and moved.
Yeah.
And was close to you. And that, to me, because I was close to you, that was also like my heart, being, I don't know, a healing of my heart being around you. And then when you moved in, it made our family complete, because it was just me and the boys. And you was doing your thing in your place, and you moved in, and it was just like, but it wasn't not just for me, for the boys too. Like, the boys started coming around more. They were reclusive and they were going through their thing. But here's the thing, Chayil has always made our house a home. So when I got married, I got pregnant a month after I got married. When Chayil came as a baby, she made us into a family. And Chayil, throughout your life being there, we always did things, before we had anybody, it was like all about Chayil, all about Chayil. And then when you went away to college, it kind of took that warmth and that comfort out of our house. You don't realize that, but you weren't there, and that was all gone. And so I remember you would come home, like, when you weren't there, because you kind of brought our family together. When you weren't home, I was in my room, he was in the living room. We barely even talked. And then when you would come home, you would bring the family together. And I remember we would argue, and you would be like, are you guys arguing because of me? And I'm like, no, we don't even talk when you're not here. You just kind of bring everybody together, your presence. So you coming in to here with everybody else, you kind of just brought us together. So your presence does something amazing.
You know what you guys moving out here done for me? Being the oldest daughter, I automatically had like this hyper independence. I have to do everything on my own, do everything on myself. I wanted to be that person to prove that I could do it on my own, do it myself, things like that. And so that made me extremely lonely. And in college, especially in college, like I was extremely lonely. COVID happened. I was lonely 2.0. And then when I moved out here and I got that house, lonely all over again. But I wanted to like be successful. I wanted to be successful, but it's just like, girl, you can't even do this on your own. But also, it's like I started making decisions that I wouldn't normally. Well, I don't even know if I would normally make that. I just started making decisions because I just didn't want to be alone. Like the people who I hung out with, the job that I had, like I just didn't want to be alone. And so it kind of had like a strain in the personal relationship that I had with my own self because just like, dang, I can't be on my own. And being alone kind of like scared me because I was always like in my thoughts and stuff like that. So that's why I chose to just be around certain people to get away from that, or even drinking and stuff like that. And so like when you guys moved here, it was more of like of a sense of community now. It was felt like better.
Like home.
Yeah, like home when you guys moved here. And so it was more clear minded, clear headed. And I feel like I can be on my own now, but not like that anymore. Like
not isolated.
Not isolated, you know. I still need community because the reason why God made Eve was for Adam. We can't do anything alone.
Right.
You know, most successful people don't get it out the mud on their own
right.
at all.
Yep.
So you guys moving here too, it just taught me, okay, it's okay to not do everything on your own. Like you can.
I think you needed to experience that in order for you to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you needed to experience that.
Because I did. Because before I went to college, I remember I just couldn't wait to just leave. I
couldn't wait for them to leave.
And you were crying when we left. What are you talking about? Anyway, like I just wanted to leave because it was just a lot going on. And
really, you wanted to leave?
Yeah, I just wanted that source of independence. I wanted to go to college already. Not even because it was just a lot going on. It was just because I just wanted to be an adult. I just wanted to jump that fence and be an adult. And then when I became an adult, and it was just like, this is so unfamiliar. And yeah, I just felt lonely.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it felt more community-wise, more home when you guys like moved out here for me.
It was a full circle moment. So what's the best is having all of the kids here. And then what is also the best is that when they leave. It's the best when they come, it's the best when they go. For real. So when I have all my boys here, because when all my kids are here, it's great. But then my bills triple, my energy bill triples, my food bill triples. It's a mess. The amount of energy that I got to put out to clean up behind these jokers triples. So it's great just to commune and to be able to just, we go out to the front, we just chop it up and we talk. It's beautiful. And then it's also good when they go. And I don't barely see her. You and your area.
I really did be in my room. That's all I be. A blessing I underestimated when I was younger was that because I used to do the same thing, but then when I want community again, I just go in your room.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that in college. Yeah. I couldn't do that when I was in Hampton.
One thing that I didn't know though is you said like your freshman year you were so lonely, but you didn't tell me. Camille Warren said that too. He didn't tell me, but Kyron, my middle son, he definitely told me. He was like, "Mom, I want to come home." So he missed his mom and he missed his family. But I didn't even know that you were like going through it.
Yeah, I was so lonely. Even though I kind of had friends, I just feel like the friends that I made just wouldn't click. Like it was just a totally new environment.
How do you feel
I feel like I can't fit in.
How do you feel now?
I feel good, better about the people that I am around. My circle is extremely limited, extremely small. I definitely want to open it up a little bit more, meet more people, but
that's the best though, having a small circle.
Yeah, but like, when you got two friends, and I just feel like I just need friends. I need friends for the different types of things that I want to do.
Yeah. Everybody has friends for different types of things.
Yeah, I think like with the friends that I do have, I can't do the certain things. Mm-hmm. I want one for like each thing that I want to do. That's the thing.
Well, at this stage in the game, the one friend that I still had that I was going out with, she got booed up, so I'm in for the winter. Anybody want to be my friend?
Back to how I feel. I think I feel better and more secure in myself, though. I think also the reason why I was so lonely, I was insecure. I also feel like y'all moving back here like instilled a little bit more confidence in me as well.
Yeah, you lost weight, you looking good, you got money in the bank, you got your car, like you living, you renting out your place, so you getting some cash flow from there. Like you got investments, you got stock, you're doing it. Yeah, glass half full. Yeah, real talk. You're not where you want to be ultimately, but look all the accomplishments that you've made. Actually, I feel sorry for your father because he's missing out on all of the greatness that you are and your siblings. Oh, I feel bad for him. I do. I wish he was able to experience this and enjoy it with all of you guys.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm closed off. I'm just, when a person inflicts on your peace, you just have to keep your distance. I feel like I can't completely even be myself without there being any judgment or without there being something to say. When I do open that door, I feel like it puts me back to square one. And I've spent all these years trying to develop myself and trying to cure that insecurity. And then I open the door and then the insecurity comes back. If he does the work on himself, then yeah, I would be more open to trying to even talk to him and things like that. But he hasn't even done the work himself, and he's always been the same person. So, because remember that conversation that we had, I realized how much it affected me, or like, because you were still on this like tip of, reach out to your father, and I finally like reach out to him, and you said you could physically see the shift in my energy after I finished talking.
And that's when I was like, I'm not making you do that anymore. I'm not going to encourage, not make you, but I'm going to stop encouraging that, because if this is changing your energy into something that's hurting you, I'm not going to encourage that. I looked at it as though I wanted for you, because you just never know. Like if something tragic happens, I don't want you guys to live with regrets.
Yeah, but it's just like, it just makes it so hard sometimes. It's like, I don't want anything to happen to you and me be like, oh, woe is me, and I wish I would have. No, it makes it hard for me to even try to even be. I don't want anything bad or anything to happen to him. I want to have a relationship, but it's like letting the toxic ex come back into your life and then having him stay there, and you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. So whatever you guys need to do, I wish the best, because one thing that I know is it help me for you to be at odds with him at all. That's not what I want for y'all. I want you to have happy, healthy relationship with him. I don't want you to be at odds, because I want you guys to be happy, healthy, and whole. So if that relationship is torn, that ain't saying, ooh, I'm the best. No. I want that to be balanced. I want you to love him as much as you love me, which I'll do, but I want you to have healthy relationships on both sides. I don't want you not to have a good relationship with him. It doesn't benefit me for you guys to have a bad relationship with him. So, but one day, just keep praying, because I know that's what you desire. I know that you do desire that. Or maybe I'll get you guys another daddy. And then we could just, start all over.
The way you looked at the camera. So, well, maybe that's all, folks. So you just gonna have to get another daddy.
I'll just get y'all another daddy. I mean, he be my daddy and your daddy.
Okay, anyway, so
I got a couple of daddies in mind.
Anywho, so I think that's time to wrap it up. What do you want to leave this conversation on?
We were talking about so many things, but I want to say that I think we have to get intentional about where we are and about getting unstuck. We can be in this loop, we can be in this cycle of just floating and coasting through life, but that's not what you want. You want to be able to grab a hold and be in control of your life. And if you want to do that, you really have to be intentional about the things that you do so that you can overcome all the obstacles that come your way. So I would say just do those things that we talked about. Do the ramp, say your affirmations, your meditation, your prayer, set that vision, have the end in mind, and then have clear steps so that you can get, you can get to reach your goals. But you don't have to be stuck in a loop. You don't have to be, kind of just floating and coasting through life. You can take control of your life.
Yeah.
But know this, we all go through it, and don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like, that you're alone in this, because we all do. I do all the time, and I just have to get myself out of it. I got to pray. It's just like everybody else.
One thing that you taught me was also allowing yourself to feel, but give yourself a time limit. Like, don't sit in that.
Yeah.
And so that's also what's been helping me. I've done that earlier today too, when I felt like I was in a funk. I was in a funk, and I went to my room and I laid down and like with my head down for like 5 minutes, and I was like, okay, I gotta get up. And because I just be so overwhelmed and just overstimulated with to-do lists and rah rah rah. Like, that's why I like quiet, because my head is not quiet. So I just get so overstimulated when like that happens. But with that being said, I just want to end this with, if you're like me, 26 years old, even younger, even older, or whatever, still trying to figure things out, having a person to also be there to hold you accountable, like, and also give good advice. I'm blessed that that person is you.
And I also have you too. So that's reciprocal.
Like, having that person, because sometimes at the end of the day, we just want to feel seen and heard. And having that person humanizes you and makes you feel seen and heard, but also gets you onto those right steps of becoming the person that you eventually want to be. And so just being around you makes me realize, and you exposing me to different things and people, makes me realize, yeah, time keeps going and don't stop for nobody, but also don't try to limit yourself to that time and feel like it's running out and still trying to figure it out, because there's a reason why we like woke up this morning. God's not finished with us yet. So it's, don't put that pressure onto yourself, which is something I also need to hear too as I'm putting pressure on myself. But don't put that pressure on yourself, and just know that everything will be okay. God has written out your story for you, and your story will always have a great ending to it, because God is in your story. So
everything's gonna work out.
Everything will work out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will work out. Just have to
have faith that it will. Yeah, stay the course.
Faith without works is
dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end of the day
gonna end. But
you're my bestie, but I'm not one of your little friends.
And girl, you're not one of my little friends either. Trust.
But I love you though.
I love you too. Okay, bye guys. See you next week.